Welcome back to another episode of The Main Stand, episode 14. We've got Josh, we've got Pat, and I'm Mitch. This week, we have another very special guest to talk about some exciting things upcoming. We got Justin back on the pod. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. Happy to be back. I will like to credit The Main Stand for Arsenal's 10-game unbeaten run. Because when I went on the fan therapy, we were ass. Now we're doing good. So it's like the new manager bounce, but it's like the Main Stand bounce. So thank you.
Yeah, since Farwell's been on, Tottenham got Antonio Conte. So
right, it'll work out for Cam too down the line. And
you're welcome, everybody who's ever been on this podcast.
Yeah, I need a personal thank you from Cam. Personal thank you from Cam because we kept a legend at his club. I think he deserves.
Yeah. Ole is at the wheel.
Yeah.
Ole is at the wheel. I believe in him. He just needs more time. Anywho, let us tuck right into this lovely episode for all of you people out there. I'll kick things off with some MLS playoff chat, just a little bit of internal housekeeping. Josh, Minnesota United is playing Portland this weekend. How are you feeling about their chances?
I love it. Yeah, Minnesota United has just become housekeeping because it's not relevant enough to talk about at the end of the episode. So we had to talk about it at the beginning. I'll be honest, I'm not very confident in our chances. Portland's a pretty tough team. It's just the inconsistency from Minnesota this year I'm a little worried about, and we're just a shambles at the back. If we can get the ball in the hands of Emmanuel Reynoso a few times, get a few shots on net, I might favor our chances a little bit more, but away at Portland's a tough place to go. There will be traveling fans from Minnesota, Sun Country. God bless, chartered a flight out to Portland. So I think it'll be a good environment, but, any team going away to Portland that's a tough ask, so...
Yeah, I don't think you're winning this game. I'm really sorry. But, my fingers crossed for a Main Stand reunion in
First season
the MLS
as an MLS
final.
fan, I can say it was a success, though. I always shit on the MLS unfairly. We like to talk about the Premier League and all the Champions League, all the other European divisions. There's a league here in America that has... a great set of fans and, a great base of players, too. They might not all be European quality, but it's a fun league. It's fun to get behind. It was a good first season being a supporter.
Thank you for saying that, because not enough people give kind of shitty but really fun leagues like the MLS a chance. And that's what the league is. It's got a couple of really bright gems, and those bright gems get found, and they get sold to actual good footballing countries. And the rest just stay, and it's a good time.
It's kind of like
made
Taco
Alphonso
Bell.
Davies.
It's kind of like Taco Bell a little bit. Like, it's shitty, but you know what you're buying, and when you buy into it, it's pretty good.
It's all pain and vibes.
That's fair. That is fair. Outside of that, the Revolution are very, very good, and that's me and Mitchell's housekeeping.
No, I've got a little bit to add to that, Patrick.
Let's go.
I got my playoff pack today. I have tickets to all of the Revolution playoff games. Should, if and when they advance, I will have my seats in the fort for all three games. The Revolution being the winningest football club in the MLS, the most points. I will be there for the MLS Cup final, should it come to Gillette. And I think this team has every right to go out and win the MLS Cup final this year. I really do. They looked very promising. The second half that Pat and I saw, they deserved to win that game. I mean,
unlucky. Just unlucky.
It was a tough game, and I think the players know it's a tough ask to wait a couple of weeks. They won't be playing until Tuesday the 30th next. That's almost a month off from playing. So I don't know if I don't know what they're going to be doing, but Bruce Arenas, I trust that he is getting them ready for a battle. I believe they're going to be playing either New York or Atlanta in the first or second round. They get a bye through the first round coming up this weekend. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be in the fort and seeing the Revolution win their first MLS Cup final this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. If they get to the ECF, if they get to the Eastern Conference final, I will be there with Mitchell, and I'll be there at the MLS Cup final as well. Unfortunately, cannot swing a Tuesday playoff game that's 3 hours away from where I live. It's a little tough for me, but I can't swing that one. But I'll be at the next two. The weekend games are really where you get me, but the weekday games, it's a little bit of a tough ask.
So should they advance and we go to the conference finals, I think we're going to have a solid group of people there. If you want to head down and tailgate with us and have a good time and watch some football in the fort, please feel free to let us know in the comments. Would love to have a big group of people go and support the Revs. They deserve it.
Yeah, get at us. Hit the pod Instagram. Hit our personal Instagrams if you know us. We're in there. It'll be sick.
Mitch will buy the tickets for everybody.
No,
yeah, Mitch, do it.
Buy your own
Mitchell, buy your tickets.
Buy your own tickets. And let us know so we can have a head count because I'll be grilling. I'll make the steak tips and burgers and dogs, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll have a good Bud Cokes on deck for Ricker.
And I will be hammered. You can guarantee that. Anywho, let's talk about something that I did not expect to be talking about in a lighter mood. The men's national team has caused me so much hurt over these past few months. They have hurt me so badly. And the other day, they didn't. They did the opposite of hurt me. They let me go to bed with a smile on my face because they beat Mexico 2-0. Dos a cero, motherfuckers. I think I've been too harsh on this team. I'm not going to lie. A little too harsh.
I think Colin Cowherd made a tweet after the game kind of condemning fans that have been shitting on Greg Berhalter, and I thought immediately of you, Pat.
Nah, fuck Greg. Fuck Greg. I'm never giving that man credit. Fuck him. But our boys played really, really well. Weston McKennie saw Josh text our group chat during the game that he wasn't convinced by him, and then put on a great performance and scored a goal. Shout out my dog, Tim Weah. He played phenomenally this game.
A phenomenal game.
And in the draw against Jamaica. Tim Weah has been a bright spark for the U.S. up front, and I'm a really big fan of his. I definitely hope his form continues, and hopefully he can get a couple of games for his club too. I would love to see him actually get some consistent minutes for Leo, as a starter for that side. But we looked really good. Also, this Mexico side doesn't actually look super convincing. Am I the only one that felt that way? They
no,
don't
not at all.
Feel like this imposing CONCACAF powerhouse that they have in recent years.
I don't know if it's just a play style or just a missing piece or a spark, but it felt like throughout points of that game, they took their foot off the gas way more than they usually do. That threatening, it's a game against Mexico. As U.S. soccer fans, we fucking dreaded those for years because we know we're going to go in and they're going to sink their fangs into us. We know they always have a rock in the back that is going to keep a clean sheet. And it hasn't felt like that over these last 3 games we've played against them. It's especially this most recent fixture. It's been exciting to watch that because it feels like, I don't know. It's just it's a different Mexico side. It really is I don't know what is wrong there. I haven't been following it outside of the head-to-head matchups and whatnot, but it's just it's fun to feel the dial kind of turning in the U.S. favor.
They lost to Canada last night too.
Yeah, they did. That's
yeah.
Great segue into Canada being the best team in CONCACAF qualifying, for sure.
It's just a strong side.
They're good. What is the stat? They've scored the most goals out of any team, right? They've scored more than everybody. Yeah, they highest goal. I've got the table up right now in front of me. I don't know these stats off the top of my head. Sorry, guys.
I believe you.
The only undefeated side in qualifying right now. 13 goals for, 5 goals against, 16 points. Like this Canada side that's looking like they're going to take the number 1 spot in the qualifiers.
Cup, I think it should be like an amendment to the law that they have to bring Giovinco.
He can just switch nationalities.
Wait, no, is he not Canadian?
No, he's Italian.
No. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, wow. That looks bad on me. He played for Toronto, though.
Cut that out in post.
He did, yeah, he did.
Okay, so that's where I got that.
He played for Toronto for a while.
Cut that out in post. All
right, that's Josh signing off for the episode.
Fucking hot take.
Yeah, hot take. Giovinco's actually Canadian.
Breaking news.
That's tough.
Main stand breaking news here. Speaking of people that seemingly switch nationalities.
God, what a goal.
Yeah.
God, what a goal.
Oh.
Michael Antonio.
Form of his life.
What is he on?
The Moyes effect.
He had 2 weeks where he slowed up. He had the red card. He looked like he was kind of losing his footing after a very hot start. He's picked it right back up.
He's literally a top European forward in one of the best leagues in Europe, and he's playing in CONCACAF qualifying. I mean, if he's been there since the start, he'd have a lot more goals. Like, he's very clearly a good player, and he's playing extremely confidently, and I think that goal just was like – that goal epitomizes his form over these past few. Just a fucking banger, an absolutely electric finish from him. It's 2 goals and 3 appearances for him for Jamaica too. So he's been a really welcome addition to the Reggae Boys. I hope that they can make the World Cup. I'm going to pull their group up here so I can see how close they are to qualifying. No, I'm not because my laptop closed the tab. But I hope that they make the World Cup.
I don't think I can recover from the Giovinco take.
No, you can't. Sorry,
so moving on.
All right. So around Europe, so we've got some fun results. First and foremost, Ballon d'Or contender Jorginho fucked up the one thing that he's good at, and now Italy are not guaranteed to make the World Cup.
So now they actually probably could use Giovinco. So now we can talk about actual Italians.
There you go.
Good save.
What a segue. The long play segue from Josh there.
The Italy side, man, I have been getting mushed on the bets by them so bad because I have rode with them after the Euros so hard, and they have just been awful, man. They do not look like the same Italy side that they were this summer. They were just so fluent, interchangeable, exciting. They just don't look like that now, man. 2 consecutive games where they dropped points to Switzerland and then Northern Ireland. Coincidentally, Northern Ireland is the same team that knocked them out of the World Cup, I believe, in ¡76. One of the 70s World Cups. Northern Ireland was actually who took them out of qualification. So if they lose the playoff, that would be pretty tragic.
Pain. Yeah, that would be painful. Portugal losing to Serbia, that was sick. Yep. I liked that a lot. Shout out awesome. Serbia.
Mitrovic, man.
Yeah, what a goal.
What'd you just call me?
But great player. Great player, great team. Really good togetherness, too, that fight back from a goal down, score the 2. When a team like that kind of goes out and proves that they are just as good as the team they're playing, despite the discrepancies on paper. I think that's cool. I just like a good fantasy, not fantasy story, but a good Cinderella story, underdog, dark horse, whatever you want to call it. I like the fact that they won that game, and I still think Portugal will end up qualifying for the World Cup. I don't think they're in any major doubt. They just have to win their playoff round. It probably really depends on who they play, but I like their odds. I think they can beat most of the teams that are in the playoff.
That would be so crazy if they missed it and then Messi still made it. That would end it.
What if we lose both Messi and Ronaldo and we get North Macedonia and Wales. Instead.
Dude, I'm sad that
Wales aren't
Holland's
bad.
not going to make it. That
No, Wales aren't bad. Sorry, North Macedonia and Italy.
It could be fun. I mean, I'm all for like absolute chaos in the World
Yes.
Cup. Give me weird teams.
Like-
Give me the strangest clubs. Yikes! Give me the strangest nations in the World Cup.
Has anybody been following the Congo story? That them qualifying for the World Cup?
No
It's like a big-
shit,
it's
really?
it's a big thing on Twitter. The Congo hype.
That is
I
awesome.
think they're either top of their group or like making a run for it.
That's fucking awesome, dude. I love that. I know that Cameroon just took the Ivory Coast out of the World Cup. They're not going to be in Qatar.
Guinea is no longer there.
No,
either.
1,000 elephants.
No,
Why
no
does Joel
1,000
Matip
elephants.
not play for Cameroon?
Isn't he injured still?
No,
Right,
but I
yeah,
don't think he
doesn't-
plays for them at all.
Because he's actually dog shit, Josh.
Whoa, no. More Champions League assists
He doesn't
and
have Virgil van Dijk to
trophies
hold
than
his hand.
your whole club.
I don't know.
I'm staying
Assists,
out of
I think
this.
that's a little bit of a stretch.
What?
Yeah, he's got more Champions Leagues than City, but so does Xherdan Shaqiri.
He also has more
What?
assists in a Champions League final than your club.
Whoa,
And they both played in the same
one
amount.
final we've played in. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm just bringing up
Boys,
the
boys.
perfect metrics and analytics here.
Boys, we don't play
I mean,
till
we are an analytics
February.
company.
We don't play till February. Can we fucking take the foot off of that pedal?
Absolutely
Can
not.
we actually
I-
talk? Did anyone else hear the Joel Matip song Liverpool fans have made? Just Waka
No,
Waka. Joel Matip's from Africa.
No.
It's
I've
amazing.
not.
It's incredible.
I have not heard this yet, and I don't know if I want to.
I'm sending
We'll
it
go
to you
find
right
it.
now.
We'll go
I
find
don't
it
know if
after
I
this.
want to hear that one.
Last couple of things to hit on for the World Cup qualifying over in Europe is the Netherlands narrowly missing or narrowly, getting into the World Cup. Good to see them there. It felt weird that they weren't there
They're back.
in 2018. So yeah, it's like the football heritage. It's good to see them there.
Virgil asked if he was excited for his first kind of big international cup, and he said he was pretty disappointed with the Euros. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see him on that stage. I think that's going to be like Netherlands is kind of like my second choice team. Like
They're a fun team.
they're
They're
a
like,
fun. They've always really been a fun side.
yeah.
So it's and the bright orange helps. So
They went on some, like, I think the last couple World Cups they went on some pretty good runs and have scored some really awesome goals, like that Van Persie one against Spain. Like,
That
they're
was sick.
always a fun time.
And then Arjen Robben robbed Mexico by diving for that penalty.
Yeah.
No era penal. We're with you, Mexico, despite being rivals, Team CONCACAF. Fuck the Netherlands.
Can we talk about
Um,
Scotland real quick too? The
Yeah,
fact that
I
they're in a
love-
playoff. The Euros was their first major tournament in like over 20 years, and now they have a chance to get to the World Cup too. Just a lot of good players that play for Scotland, honestly, man. Andy Robertson, John McGinn, Che Adams is just doing bangers for Scotland, scoring goals in every
Tierney.
game.
Captain
Tierney?
Andy Robertson.
Captain Andy Robertson, Scott McTominay.
John McGinn.
Yo, Scott
They're a fun
McTominay. I think he's their best player. What about you guys?
You're just a little shit disturber today, aren't you?
Yeah, Pat's
Yo,
just
the
asking
last
for it.
game. The last game we get to talk about is the worst one. Yo, R.I.P. San Marino.
Yeah.
Like,
Oof.
England 10, San Marino 0. San Marino have a negative 45 goal differential in their group with no points and 1 goal scored. Harry Kane has 1 goal for his club this year and 16 on the international stage. I think 7 of which have come in this international window. Definition of stat padding versus farmers. Also, if I'm from San Marino and they are calling me up to play for the national team, I'm saying, nah, fam, I'm good. Best of luck, though.
I'm busy.
Why though?
Because you're just going to get shit pumped by
point-
everyone you play.
It's a charity game at that point. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm
you would
good.
get the chance if you're going to play the best players England has to offer. You're going to say no. I'll walk
I'm
out
good.
there and get waxed 20-0. I don't care. I get to say
You're-
I was on the pitch with Harry Kane and fucking the bet. Like that's an insane take that you wouldn't play for your country's national football team.
Can
First
you
of all.
just let me make a joke on the podcast, please?
No,
Are you kidding me?
your spiciness has riled me, Patrick.
That wasn't even spicy. It was a.
I was actually going to side with Mitch on that, too, before you said it was a joke.
Oh my god.
Can't take a joke. Fuck them.
Yeah, clearly.
Also funny that Trent did not sing God Save the Queen.
I mean,
Scouse, not English.
is he wrong? All right. Well, that was a really
Yes.
fun start to this episode, and that was also the European World Cup qualifiers. In other news,
We haven't even talked about the Premier League yet. We're getting this spicy.
it's going to be a fun episode. I'm the most sober I've ever been, so I'm very clear-headed on this episode. So Dean Smith went to Norwich. It's not Frank Lampard. They're still getting relegated, but that's cool.
Another story we get mushed on immediately after the episode drops. I swear, Fabrizio just watches our Instagram and is like, what story can we mush of the main stand this week?
They're all of them are way too confident that Frank Lampard is going to Norwich City. Let's just confirm that it's not him right now.
Dean Smith
know
is
what?
such a weird appointment, though. Like, good for
Right?
Norwich, I guess, but like, why, Dean Smith? Why are you taking that job, man? It's such a short-term, like, job. It just makes no sense. You're not keeping him up.
He will. I don't think he will, but maybe.
No chance.
Imagine if he does, though.
That'd be
Imagine
crazy.
if he does.
He has time, and he has a transfer window.
Yeah, Norwich is gonna go big in that transfer window, Mitch. Totally, they're gonna change
Yeah,
everything.
they're gonna spend.
No,
they're
no.
gonna spend loads of money that
No.
they have.
But he has time to adjust,
He
and
does.
he has more than half of a season.
They're gonna
like-
go from 20th to like 19th.
He's
Yeah,
not.
they'll go from 20th to 18th. They'll
Yeah.
almost get not relegated.
They have an opportunity.
Mitch, I just can't see it happening.
I can't
In-
either. But you don't
They
like
have
an underdog
5
story?
points, bro. They
So
have 5 points.
how many points off of 17th are they?
5.
They're 5 points off. And we
5
have
points.
how long of a season? That's 2 wins.
That's assuming that nobody else. Mitch, they're getting relegated. They're dog shit.
They're gone.
It's not about if they're going to get relegated. You have to look at like what other teams would get relegated, and they're all way better than Norwich, man. It's not like
We
asking,
haven't
like,
seen him. We haven't seen his side on Norwich yet. Let's pump the brakes. Let's
Mitch,
not
they've
jump to
already shipped
conclusions.
26 goals. It's been
Let's not
11
jump to
games.
conclusions, gentlemen. Sheesh.
A conclusion
Dude.
we can jump to.
Unless Todd
is-
Cantwell becomes Gaza in the next 2 months, dude, they are
I
going
would
down.
love
Hey,
Love
Todd
that.
Cantwell can get hot.
Todd Softwell. Love
He has the Young Thug cosign, so I do like Todd Cantwell. But all right, so let's dive into the reason that Justin is here, because I have an immediate fun take for the podcast that it's
Oh,
not
God.
spicy, it's
Oh,
not meant to
God.
rile anybody up, it's how I feel. Arsenal is beating Liverpool this weekend.
Oh God, you're more.
What are you
confident
on
than
about?
me.
What are you
Arsenal's
on
beating
about?
Liverpool this weekend.
I love Pat.
They're doing it. 10 games unbeaten. They're mad confident. Liverpool have looked a little bit shaky in club games recently. Arsenal are taking 3 points. No questions. No further questions, Your Honor.
What are you on about, Pat? Honestly, they haven't won at Anfield in 6 years. They've gotten like
Neither had City, but they did it.
We won. Didn't we beat you in the Carabao Cup? That doesn't count.
in the Premier
but it has.
League. Carabao Cup doesn't
There you
count.
go. That crazy game with like went to PKs.
That
But
no,
no,
Liverpool won that one. Curtis Jones got the winning penalty. That might have
Did
been.
we?
You beat us in the FA Cup, I think.
That was
The
it. Yeah.
FA Cup, yep.
Dude, Arsenal versus Liverpool at Anfield is always just nuts. Like, it's just crazy. Every time either we get pumped or it's like 4-4. Like, it's
you
just
gotta
mad.
pound the over.
I am so excited for this game.
It's going to be a goal
because
fest.
you're going to get 3 points.
I definitely think we will play better. This is probably our first real big test since Mikel's gotten the side he's want. After the first couple games we played City, Chelsea, we didn't have the core that he's brought in. That's really changed everything. So I'm really excited to see how they like match up at a really big away presence. The Leicester result gives me a little bit more confidence. Seeing how we got those 2 early goals and we withstood a lot of pressure. I don't know. Liverpool's just so good.
So, Justin, I want you to talk about before, me and Mitch give our reasoning. Why don't you tell a little bit, since the last time you were on the podcast, Tomiyasu came in. He was playing a few games when you came on, but he's really made an impact. And then Ramsdale, I mean, he's just made a world of difference for you. Why don't you go on and tell you what has been different about Arsenal in the past 4 or 5 weeks?
I definitely think after the City result, Mikel Arteta came out and he was like, these are like the best 10, 15 days of my whole career. And everybody was like, dude, what are you talking about? I think he was just so impressed with how like the team rallied together during the international break, because not a lot of people went. And he really got to like really see what he had there. And then the Norwich game, he was like, all right, we're going for it. He put Ramsdale in, put Tomiyasu in. It was Gabriel's first game back. Started Odegaard. And he was like, all right, we're just going to go, like, save my job. And it's worked. The boys believe in him. I think Ramsdale has probably been our biggest signing, just character-wise. Like, he is not afraid of anything. He loves defending. Like, he will be yelling at, like, any of our players if they make any mistake around our box. And he's just, like, he's dapping up Ben White or Gabriel if they, like, make a clearance. I love him so much. I think the big thing with him and Leno was just more just like, I'm just going to do my job, do my best. And he's a pretty good like shot saver, but Ramsdale's just completely transformed the whole side from the back.
Smith Rowe's been having a great season as well.
My star boy, Emil Smith Rowe, I love him so much. I love that Mikel put him on the left. I think he can do everything from that side, because when he was at the 10, I feel like he was kind of just pigeonholed there, like where he was like, all right, you have to be the one that create all these chances going forward. And I feel like with him on the left, it gives him a lot more versatility of like, he can go down to the side, he connects well with Tierney. And he's just such a good dribbler. Like, I love Saka, but I think he's probably our best young prospect, like ever.
I've been super impressed with Smith Rowe, the games that I've seen him in. So wholeheartedly agree. I actually think that Arsenal have gone through like a really good transformation since coming onto the main stand. I think they're good. I think they're a good side, and I think that we probably gave them a lot of unnecessary stick at the start of the season. No, you
gave them a lot of necessary stick. We were garbage. We were
it was like necessary banter, but at the same time, it was like, listen, I was like joking that Arsenal were going to get fucking relegated. Obviously, they're not going to get. They were never going to get relegated, but you know, you guys weren't very good, but kind of like, you know, gonna just compare it to like City's start last season. There's plenty of time for good teams to be good and bad teams to be bad. A lot of your star players weren't there. You know, once you see like the good guys get back into the side and the team kind of really start to take its shape, I think it was only a matter of time before you guys kind of found yourself back into like the mix where, you know, you would expect Arsenal to become, you know, 11 games into the season.
Yeah, I think the culture's changed too. That's a big thing. Mikel's been wanting to bring in like a big unity, wants people bought in. If you're not about the project, you're out. That's what happened to Guendouzi. I love Matteo Guendouzi so much, but him and Arteta just didn't see eye to eye. That's why he's at Marseille. And that's why he got rid of Ozil, got rid of Mustafi, all these players who were just kind of just there. And really just, he really looked at like their character. I feel like Brendan Rodgers right now talking about character.
Character.
Passion.
Yeah, passion. I saw a quote and it was like, he watched Ramsdale's reaction after he would concede a goal and he was like, I want him. Like, these boys are bought in. And I really think Saka and Smith Rowe, like just how they play on the field, their personality has really inspired the team too, because they're always looking forward. They're looking to start something. When Mikel first came in, he was always just focused on defense, and he did a pretty okay job at that, but we sucked at offense. We could not do anything. We couldn't get into the box. He was like, Tierney's just going to cross it and shut off. Like, whatever happens. But I think the team's really inspired by seeing these two youngsters really like, all right, this is our club and take it forward. And I think everybody's just bought into the project.
Is it just me, or is it kind of like Arsenal's like a year behind Chelsea right now?
I think like if we did such a good job, I think, in this transfer window. Now, 10 games in, unbeaten run. Like when Mustafi came in, he had like a 20-game like clean sheet. Like he started really well. These players could end up being bad. You never know. But he has given us the platform of like, we fixed all these holes. Now, if we just get like one or two key targets, like we could really go forward. So our next big transfer is going to be a striker. I don't know what we're going to do because Aubameyang's going to be gone soon. Lacazette, he's on the way out.
What if we see like a wild, like, what if we see Haaland go to fucking Arsenal?
Dude,
I think the Kroenke's got that kind of money. Let's be realistic here.
No, they're too busy. They're too busy helping out the Rams.
But I know that's a wild thing to say, and I was tossing out the name just as like a top striker right now. But like, I think he fits the Arsenal system.
Totally. We need an imposing, like, if we had Giroud just a couple years ago,
that's why I think
Giroud
I'm saying
was
something
still scoring
like that.
Scorpion kicks would be fucking immense in this Arsenal side.
But it's like that tall, leggy fucking striker that Arsenal always seems to have.
Dusan. I want Dusan so bad from Fiorentina. I want
Everybody
him.
does.
Yeah, he's a baller.
He's putting them in the top six.
Just wanted to say up the boys in purple. I'm a big believer.
They're finishing 8th, Justin. Shut up. I don't want to have to spend that kind of money on that kid. They're finishing 8th.
I cannot get over Mitch's comment a couple of minutes ago of, are they a year away from what Chelsea is now?
No. That's not what I meant by that.
Yeah,
what I meant is you see Chelsea make a move at keeper. You see them really build around two young attacking players, and they're in clear need of, obviously they were tossing up a manager move. They stuck with Arteta. Lampard went, but they need that striker, and Chelsea have just gone out and done that. And that's what I meant by the way they're trying to build the squad and the pace they're on it.
I got
the way Arsenal have benched a $70 million winger in Pepe instead of an $80 million forward.
Are we going to talk about Nicolas Pepe? Because
what do you want to talk about? I thought he was going to be good when you signed him.
I wanted Liverpool to sign him.
I did too. I thought he was coming.
I love him so much, but he's just the inconsistency. It's just, I don't know. He's one of those like just chaos players. You throw him on, and he's either gonna just dribble by everybody and like hit top corner, or he's gonna just do a bunch of cutbacks and pass like
kind of like
nothing.
I'm all here for the chaos that dribbling creates, but like Pepe sucks, dude.
He is a perfect like impact player. Like if we need a goal at like the 70th minute, throw him and Martinelli on, and let's just like go for it. Like he's that kind of player.
That's fair. It just sucks you had to spend $70 million on
a
guy to come off the
swindled.
bench.
It was his agent had like I think it was like a Raul signing. Like back when like Arsene left, we had that weird little like these people are not running the club. They knew these agents. We got swindled. We're looking. I think there's rumors we might offload him.
He's filling. Sorry to interject.
Yeah, go for it.
He's filling that like Daniel Sturridge role, but not as good.
Daniel Sturridge scored goals.
He's that, throw him on in the 75th minute when you need to go create some chaos.
Right.
But he's not doing as good of a job.
Yeah. The thing with Pepe, when he signed for Arsenal, played under Unai, then we had COVID halfway through. So that kind of like disrupted his first year. And then also the Willian signing, really that fucked him up.
I forgot that happened.
I don't want to talk about it. But he took Pepe's spot. Like we went into the season with like, all right, we got Alba, Lacazette, Pepe. That will get us at least somewhere. And then Arteta's like, Willian, you're going to do the job on the right. And then that took a lot of Pepe's game time. And then Pepe kind of just had to keep proving to himself. Him and Arteta have this weird like love-hate relationship where like Pepe has a great couple games, then he gets benched for some reason. And then he's just in the shadow realm, just waiting to get back. And also, Bukayo Saka is so much better on the right. I don't want to see Pepe starting over him on the right. I like Pepe on the left, but like no one's taking Smith Rowe or Saka's spot right now.
No, definitely not Pepe. That's for damn sure. All right, Mitch and Josh.
I'm going to turn it dark for a second. Liverpool? Yep, I'm going to turn it dark. Going through Arsenal's results here. We're just going to read thue them one by one. So after the Man City game...
Okay, thanks for starting after the bad part.
Yes. We're going to go over the good part.
Yeah, I don't want to relive that part.
Arsenal-Norwich. 1-0 to Arsenal. Sacked manager. Burnley-Arsenal. 1-0 to Arsenal. Burnley are shit. Shit manager. Arsenal, AFC Wimbledon. Doesn't really matter. Arsenal to Tottenham. Sacked manager. Brighton Arsenal. Draw. 0-0. Fair result. Arsenal Crystal Palace. 2-2. Probably a game Arsenal should have won. Arsenal Aston Villa. I'll give you that's a good win, but another sacked manager. Arsenal 2-0 against Leeds. Good win. Opponent.
That was a Carabao Cup game, too.
Yes, you're correct. Leicester-Arsenal, 2-0 to Arsenal. That is a good win. That's a quality win. Arsenal-Watford, 1-0 to Arsenal, sacked manager.
That game was so funny.
four of those games I just read off, sacked manager. I mean, you can look at their winning results, and they are on good form right now, but they are two shit teams, man. And this Liverpool team... Yeah, they have won 1 out of their past 3. They are a little bit shaky right now. I think they still have a lot to figure out. VVD is definitely still not at 100%. I think we can accept that. Liverpool have a lot of injuries as well. This game is not cut and dry that Liverpool are going to, beat Arsenal's head in. That's just not going to happen. But with that being said, I do think Arsenal's win results lately are a little bit inflated. And before Mitch goes in, I also do just want to bring in a little bit more stats, and then I'll let Mitch say whatever he has to here. And I'm bringing up this on my phone so I can have the zoom up, so just bear with me for a second. So Liverpool this year are actually starting off games a little bit slower. They've only scored 15 goals this year in the first 30 minutes of the game. All their goals are really coming in the middle. Latter half. Arsenal, though, if you look at the goals they're conceding, they are in the latter half when Liverpool tends to do well, especially at home attacking the Kop. Just looking at those stats along with the recent results for Arsenal, that gives me enough info to really favor Liverpool here and favor them by a couple goals. Nothing more than that. I think they'll win by 2, a nice margin of 2. This team, it's rare for Liverpool to drop points or lose in consecutive matches. That's the thing I've noticed over time. When you look at it from all competitions, Liverpool usually bounces back in the next game they play. Because they do well when Arsenal does generally poor in the game right after halftime, end of the match, I favor Liverpool to get a win, 3-1, 2-0, but at least by a margin of 2 goals. And I believe the odds on that are... Just give me 1 second. The odds on that are plus 130. So plus odds, I think it's a good pick at Anfield.
Before I say anything, I have one question for Justin.
What's up?
What does your back line look like left to right this weekend?
I think it really depends on Tierney. I think he's going to get the start, but it's probably going to be Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, and White, Gabriel. And if Tierney is able to, Arteta will definitely pick Tierney.
Another one we forgot for Scotland also, by the way. Class.
Justin did it. Justin was yelling it the whole time.
My bad. I didn't even know.
My Tesco King.
I'm just looking at the injuries.
They're there.
While you're doing that, I am going to point out that it's really funny that Josh just said that this Liverpool side doesn't drop points in consecutive games and they're coming off of a draw and a loss.
No, they had a win against Atletico in the middle of those.
I'm just looking at the Premier League here, friend. We're ignoring the facts and we're just looking at what I'm looking at, okay?
That's fair. I did say all competitions.
I didn't. I'm just looking at the Premier League here. All right.
Looking at the injuries, I don't know.
Spot on
2-1
that.
Arsenal.
I think
right? 2-1 Arsenal.
No,
2-1 Arsenal.
This is what I'm going to go with, and I'm going to stick to it.
Okay.
After hearing both sides of the argument.
Well, I haven't given my side yet. I was just talking about Arsenal.
You talked for a very long time about
I did. But the question was, how were they before? But anyway, keep going.
Okay, no, if you give your take on the game first then.
Okay. Well, first, Josh,
2-1 Arsenal.
I will raise. We've had a pretty good run with fixtures. But there are no guaranteed wins in the Premier League. I think everybody can attest to that. I think everybody on this podcast right now, your team has dropped points to any of the clubs in the Premier League this year. It's just an insanely good.
We didn't lose to Brentford.
We did lose to Brentford though, but Brentford is really good.
Yeah,
they are fun.
They're a very good side.
Ivan Toney is. I love him. I will say that, and we do start the games very fast. I think that's a staple of this current Arsenal team. We go all gas at the start. Now, when we don't score, that's kind of where we run into, all right, how are we going to handle this game? Are we going to step off the break a little bit, absorb this pressure? I don't know how we're going to handle Mo Salah right now, especially with both of us coming up, everybody coming off the international break. You know, you have this momentum, and then there's this pause. So we can say all this stuff. We don't really know how the teams are both going to come out. Liverpool's probably going to be really hungry to catch up to Chelsea and City. And I also will just say we are 2 points behind you. We have had like some easier games, but we are 2 points behind you after being in 20th with no points. So just let that be known.
Yeah, those are all fair points.
Right. I do agree with you, though. I do think Liverpool's probably going to win 1 or 2. I just think the matter how we – it's weird saying like, we're losing, but I hope we lose well. But we have not won or even performed well away from home against a Big Six club in a really long time. I think last year we got really lucky with the United win. We got a penalty and we just really parked the bus. That one was just something. But winning away is so hard, especially at Anfield with the Kop and fans are there. I don't know. I feel like we're too young of a team. I would love for us to do it. I think it's going to be like 4-2 or 3-1. Like,
damn.
Yeah.
I'm the only one on this podcast that believes in Arsenal.
I want to believe, but we haven't had this test yet, so I don't really. It's a big unknown. The Tottenham game is that's a derby. Like, you can't really go into like how that's going to go. And this is our first real test with these players. So I don't know how it's going to go. I would love for us to win, and I think we could. I'm just being realistic.
I'll tell you how it's going to go.
You've made up your mind.
You just no. You verified exactly what I was thinking. So I don't think I need to talk much more about either side. So I'm just going to give my prediction for the game. I think both Josh and Justin gave phenomenal insight into the match upcoming this weekend. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be 4-2. We're going to get a Mo Salah hat trick, and we're going to get a Jota header for the fourth goal.
That's a good call.
Spicy.
Yeah.
That's spicy.
With a Trent assist.
Mo Salah's due for a goal too. He hasn't scored in a couple games.
He's definitely getting a pen. He's definitely getting a pen.
He's getting a penalty.
There's always a pen.
He's gonna get a leaker, and then he's gonna do one of the Mo Salah specials, dummy the back line, invade them, and slot one.
I'm gonna be honest too.
He's gonna score a consolation pen in the 90th minute.
Nope.
When you're down
this is my honest take too on Gabriel. I don't think he's good. I think Saliba is good. I think Saliba's going to come back into that team and take his spot. I genuinely don't think Gabriel is good. He was a shambles last year, and 12 games doesn't change that.
Yeah, I will give you that. But that was he's a young defender. He had David Luiz to kind of hold his hand, and he is insane. That's the wrong person that should be real guiding you. He also had COVID last year. There was some nagging injuries. He started off very well last year, came back, had a rough start. He has transformed our defense. He is the leader. His English has gotten a lot better. Him and Ben White, my man Benny Blanco, they actually Benjamin. His name's Benjamin White. I don't know if anybody else saw that. It's not Ben White. It's Benjamin.
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 Yeah, Benjamin Blanco.
Yeah. Gabriel is a monster. He loves to compete. He loves going against those physical strikers. He loves a good aerial duel. He will shit house if he has to. He will die for a clean sheet. And I think the Leicester game really showed that. I think you're way off on that one.
I don't love his ball playing ability. He showed that in the
last. It has gotten better. There's a stat. He is the Arsenal player who has the ball the most, and everybody thought that's what Ben White was going to do. But since Xhaka has been out, Arteta really loves the left. Whoever's on the left side to really be playing that ball out. And since Xhaka is out, Gabriel's really filled that void, I think, very well. Also, keynote, Xhaka has only played in one of the games that we have won. Just let that be known.
I also know if I'm wrong, and Gabriel pockets somebody, and holds Liverpool to one goal, I'll be the first person to admit it on next week's podcast.
All right,
I'll hold you to that when he does it.
I will. I don't think he will though. I don't love his positioning. Yeah. I don't love his ball playing ability.
I love him, but I also love Saliba. I think a little bit more. I really hope he gets a run in next year. I think what Arteta was thinking was he couldn't really guarantee him a full season, and he was like, I'm going to send you away one more year, and he's been impressed. He's man of the match almost every other match. He pocketed that picture. Did you see that picture of that last ditch? I could totally see. I think I'm trying to remember who on here a couple weeks ago said I think it might have been you, Josh, talking about what they're going to do when he comes back. I definitely could see them going into a back three with Ben White as the right-sided center back and Saliba in the middle. I could totally see Arteta doing that.
Yeah, and if they did a back four, I don't think what I said. If it sounds like I'm being disrespectful to Gabriel, I get it, but at the same time, I don't think it's insane to say Saliba's a better center back. I mean, he's doing it at the top level in France. I just think a combo of him and Ben White might be a little bit more effective. Right. That's my opinion.
What are your thoughts on Ben White? I'm just curious because I know a lot of the players we signed this year for the money we got a lot of slack for, and Ramsdale was one of them. I didn't want Ramsdale at first, but he's changed my mind. I just want to know what everybody thinks about.
It's the market, Ben White. Liverpool get raked for signings too. Everyone gets raked for signings, especially English people. Ben White is a fine signing for an English center back. And he'll prove 100%. Himself. You can't get thrown to the coals at Arsenal and expect to be, like Rio Ferdinand right when you get in there. It's impossible, man. He'll grow. That's
definitely one of the reasons I think Saliba also went on loan another year because I think Arteta was like, you're too young, I think, as a center back to be have all this pressure with the English media. I feel like it's played a different position, maybe, but a center back, you make one mistake and then that just haunts you for such a long time.
Yeah, I don't hate it, man. It was a good signing.
Yeah, thank you.
I honestly don't mind. I think Arsenal's transfer window in the summer was actually pretty good.
I do too. The Odegaard one, I love him, but Arteta seems to be going for. I think this will also depend on how we do against you guys. Is if he goes with Lacazette or Odegaard, because he's been having Lacazette kind of play in a weird false 90, 10. He plays very physical. He's trying to get fouled. He's added a bunch of shithousery to his game in his later years. I think it's kind of funny.
Is it fair to say that Odegaard though is a utility guy that you're not there yet? You're not at what Liverpool was a few years ago or what Chelsea was 2 years ago. You're kind of on the cusp of rebuilding where you just need some utility guys that can play multiple positions. I think Odegaard is that guy for you now, and you'll upgrade, in a year or two.
I could see that. I think his loan was kind of rocky coming in, but he's a leader. He's the captain of the Norwegian side. He's pretty young. He's just been looking for a real consistent run because he hasn't had that in his whole career. He's just been all over the place. And I love his mentality too, because someone asked how does he feel about other people starting over right now, and he was like, I care about the team winning. That's all I care about right now. I think the one thing that kind of hinders them is that he's just a 10, and Arteta's been kind of going for a 4-2-2, and I think it really decides on how Arteta wants to approach it, because he's okay as a center mid, but I think Lukanga and Maitland Miles are better at him in that spot.
I agree. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Liverpool Arsenal, guys? Before we move on,
I'm just
I made my thoughts
very
pretty
good.
known.
I'm just manifesting that hat trick.
Yeah.
God damn, it's gonna look so good.
Your side is really, really fun. Like, honestly, like, I love Klopp. Liverpool's great. I am very happy you guys lost though last week, because another year is invincible. So thanks. You scared me that one year when
Always
Watford
have to
beat
bring
you.
it up.
I celebrated that a little too hard when Watford beat you a couple seasons ago.
Ismaila Sarr still haunts me, man.
Oh,
Because
my God.
I was convinced that side was going for it, because just nothing was stopping Liverpool.
Well, we
was a
won the
fun
league,
year.
and then COVID happened,
did.
and then everyone was
Yeah.
hungover, and we just got shithoused the last 5 games.
I had
Yeah,
a lot of
Liverpool-
fun with that one.
I
Jota,
also
love
just
Jota.
a final thought on this game too. Another reason I kind of favor Liverpool is that Andy Robertson's a doubt for this one. I don't think he plays. Costas Tsimikas is going to play.
That's your guy. You
Listen,
Man.
the last time you told me that, I started him. I got 0 fantasy points for it. All right, Josh.
But Robertson actually, that was because I anticipated that he would play. Robertson actually went out hurt at Hampden Park the other night. I actually think that because of injury, Costas Tsimikas is going to play. Dude, against, I think they were playing Kosovo, Greece, he created 7 chances. His crossing has just been impeccable this year. And I love Robbo, but he's been poor the past couple games. So I think the addition of Tsimikas on the side is another boost to Liverpool.
We have that same situation, because Tierney hasn't had the best start, and Tavares has come in out of nowhere and is just full of life. He is crazy.
Yeah.
We have a
just-
Tavares full of life on our side too.
Rebecca,
Fabinho's wife.
if you're a football Twitter member, you know who that is.
She's, I know it's his sister, but she's like the Anna Horford. I love how hyped she gets for Liverpool games.
I remember when Bakary Sagna left for our City, and everybody was so mad that him and his wife were leaving. I think they were more sad about that part than him actually leaving.
He was a funny player for City. He was funny. All right. So next game we have on the docket is Leicester and Chelsea.
That's spicy.
I think Chelsea are going to win this one just because they're pretty fucking good. They're really solid at the back. Leicester are coming off a loss to Arsenal. They haven't looked incredible, not as terrifying every time they go forward like they have in the past couple of years. And Chelsea just looks so goddamn organized at the back, man. I mean, granted, they're playing terrorist ball.
They're
but
so boring.
They're not leaking goals.
I hate them so much.
Is it time for a Jamie Vardy banger?
He's due. He's
see
due.
I don't see it.
I don't think this game, but he's due. The going will run.
I want to see Leicester win this game so bad.
I think
Yeah,
everybody.
so do I, but I
so
just don't
bad.
think it's going to happen, man.
I don't
think-
think so, but I want it so badly. Jamie Vardy, can you please just take everything you've done to Liverpool and remember that and do it
Only
again?
sickos want Chelsea to win.
Fuck.
Or Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans probably want Chelsea to win, too.
Bass is a sicko.
Poli.
Transitive property. Bass is a sicko.
Yep.
I agree with Pat on this one. I don't think Leicester's winning this game. Chelsea haven't lost since the end of September. We're breaking out the analytics today, boys. We have some stats. We're prepared.
We're coming with ammunition.
Yes. So, dude,
Bow, bow, bow.
the trio in the back, Thiago Silva, Edouard Mendy, great defensive players. And then you have Reece James on the right, who is a competitor for Trent Alexander-Arnold for English right back. The starting one, obviously, for Gareth Southgate. Bearing that aside, he is a very good center back, defensive and offensive. This season in the Premier League, per 90 minutes, he creates 2.9 passes a game that lead to a direct shot on goal. That is insane. And it screams that Chelsea will score at some point in the match. Reece James has been on form, so I think Chelsea will at least score one, probably coming off of his foot to another player. When Chelsea have a goal difference of +1, meaning they're winning by 1 goal, they have only had 3 goals allowed in all of those minutes, with an expected XGA of 5.88. So that means their defense has just been outrageous when they are up just by 1 goal. They defend that narrow scoreline really well, and for that reason, I favor the Chelsea money line +125. We're doing Rick's picks right, boys. We're using the analytics. I'm not getting beat this week.
After they score their first goal, they just mash left on the D-pad and park the bus.
They're like, we're done. We're going home.
They are the Tukali band.
It is a thing of beauty. As much as I hate to say it, watching them defend it's insane.
You're sick if you think that's beautiful. You're sick.
It is insane
if you think that is beautiful.
The fact that they do it so well, the fact that they play into it is insane. Like, Patrick,
it wins games. Of course, they're going to play into it. It's just
was
sick.
Able to hold us off a man down for what, 40 minutes?
Mitchell, I'm not saying it's bad. Okay. I'm saying you're sick for calling it beautiful.
I'm not a Chelsea fan.
The opposite of beautiful. It is gross.
It is mean. It is dangerous.
Yeah, it is mean. It's mean on your eyes because it's disgusting.
Hey, people think snakes are beautiful.
Snakes at least kind of look cool, and at least they move. All right?
Like this Chelsea side.
I don't agree with the terrorist ball qualities that Thomas Tuchel has brought to my league.
You're just offended. You're just offended, brother.
On to a side that is going to move the ball well. Aston Villa. They're playing Brighton this week. Their first game under Stevie G.
Oh, Potter
versus... a really funny segue.
That's a great matchup.
The segues have been on today. I'm kind of like off one a little bit. The Giovinco comment threw me early. But I have been on a banger since then.
You're looking for redemption.
The famous Canadian Giovinco.
He played for Toronto, and that's what tripped me up, to be completely fair. He played for Toronto for a long time.
That's fair.
We got to get like whoever's head or leading Toronto and whoever gives out like keys to the cities. Hey, is this guy Canadian or what?
He's an honorary Canadian.
If he's an honorary Canadian, we'll let it slide.
So what do you guys think about Villa Brighton? Is this one you see Villa picking up points in, or Brighton's a tough side, but
I think
know the new manager feeling in a club?
I think Brighton do win this, but I would love to see Steven Gerrard get 3 points in his first game.
I'm interested to see how Steven Gerrard translates how he played at Rangers to this Villa side, and to see if the game plans kind of come to fruition. I mean, it's his first real experience with a lot of these guys, so obviously it's going to take a little bit of time for him to really mold this Villa side into what he wants them to be. That being said, I think he's coming up against one of the best managers in the league, against a really solid side, someone who's got his team playing exactly the way he wants them. And they started the season pretty well. A couple of shaky results here and there, but I do think that this Brighton side is good, and they are good enough to beat Villa. So I favor them a little bit more in this game. I'm thinking 2-0 to the Seagulls.
They're definitely on their day. They're so hard to beat. Graham Potter has them playing some amazing football. I love Brighton.
A really good coach.
Yeah,
Potter's a really good coach.
I'm really surprised that no one's tried to take him yet.
Yeah. And for this one, I have I think Stevie could pick up a point. I don't think Aston Villa is going to win. So I have Brighton, no draw. So basically, for people who might be unaware, that means that if it's a draw, it's a push, you get your money back. If Brighton wins, the bet goes through. You're basically just eliminating that Brighton don't lose the match. Odds on that one are plus 105, so pretty decent. I believe
Any
the next
other last
one.
Thoughts?
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Pat, do you want to talk about your next game?
I would love to talk about our next game because City are going to beat the shit out of Everton. Everton are in terrible form. They are down horrendously. It's 2 losses, 3 draws out of their last 5. We've got that 1 loss to Palace in there where, I don't know, it just feels like one of those fluke losses that every team gets in a year. We were absolutely the better side. We've been playing really, really well all year, creating a ton of chances. We're scoring goals. We're coming off a really good win against Bruges, too, on top of the Derby win. João Cancelo's playing out of his mind. Bernardo Silva's in some of the best form of his life. Phil Foden's playing really well. De Bruyne had a good international break. Nobody got hurt while away on international duty. I think it's a pretty easy 4-1 to Man City over the weekend.
I can respect that.
Yeah, it seems like the tipping point for Benitez at Everton a little bit too. I could see this one getting a little bit messy for the Toffees. I have over 3.5 goals plus 115 odds.
Yep, I think that's a safe bet. I think we're gonna put a few by them. I think they'll get one. They're probably due for one. Our defense has been a little funky after 2 weeks after me saying we don't concede goals. We've been conceding a couple goals here and there, so I think they'll probably snag one. But I think we're just gonna beat the hell out of them and score a few. I would also say I can definitely see at least one João Cancelo assist this game too.
I think that if there was a prop bet on is there going to be a Cancelo assist, I think you have to hammer that. He's been passing the ball so well. His distribution's been insane, and
yeah, he's like
ability to create goals.
He's a number 10 that can play right back and left back. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Curb your enthusiasm reference for those of you.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Next game we have on the agenda here for us to chat about. It's going to be our last game in England, and that's Tottenham and Leeds. We've got dog shit versus a dumpster fire.
It is the history of the Tottenham.
Pretty good description of this one. Bamford's still out, so I mean, I wouldn't expect anything fun from either side.
I think Conte's going to go out and win it.
I think
Tottenham are going to win.
I think Tottenham's going to win, but it's not going to be like a stellar.
It's going to be so boring.
It's just going to be a pretty boring 1-0, 2-0 game.
Yeah,
which would be like
Kane and Son are going to score. One will be a pen.
If they go out and have a goal fest, I will put my foot in my mouth on stream.
Rafinha
that is a weird
4.
hill to die on for this match.
I'll just be impressed with the flexibility that you display to do that, Mitchell.
I'm flexible as fuck.
Tottenham are actually quite the favorites in this one. My best bet for this one is the Tottenham money line. They're at minus 140 right now, so they're favored quite heavily. I don't necessarily agree with how favored they are, but that's still the bet I take. I think Conte is going to go out and win it solely on his shoulders alone.
We'll fuck around.
Yeah, I do think Tottenham are going to end up winning this game. So yeah, I'm with that bet, Joshua. Good pick.
I think I'm going 8 for 8 this week, boys. Too. I don't want to.
That is.
Those are some fucking. That's the hot take of all hot takes, Josh.
Yeah, the rest of the main stand would like to say we don't agree with Josh based on prior betting experiences and other picks. Josh is not going 8 for 8 this weekend. I'll give him 50%, and that's being generous until proven otherwise. Sorry, I love you, Josh.
We broke out the analytics this week. That's all you need to know, okay?
At least you can back the picks that you're going to get wrong.
Moving on to Serie A, our favorite league here at the Main Stand podcast.
Shout out Julian.
Shout out Julian.
Yeah, that was a fun listen. Just wanted to let you three know. That was fun.
Julian equals numbies. That's all you need.
Julian's goated.
Shout out all the new listeners we got from Julian. Shout out Toronto. Shout out Canada A. Love you guys. I love maple leaves and maple syrup. Montreal's a really cool city.
And hockey.
Please don't hate me for my really bad Canadian person impression.
You're hated.
First game, Lazio, Juventus. What do you guys think of this one? This is an interesting one because Juve is still kind of just mucking about in the middle of the table. Lazio, kind of the same. They're not really doing as well as they did last year. I have this one as a snoozer, under 2.5 goals. That one is actually a bet we have hit on the past 2 times we've put it on here, a Juventus game under 2.5. The odds on that are plus 100, so even odds. Very likely this happens.
Yeah, and Juve and Lazio are in relatively similar veins of form, but Lazio are playing a bit better. So I think under 2.5 is probably a good way to go. Neither of these teams are really scoring a ton of goals. Juve have only scored 16 in their first 12, so they're a little funky. They've also been kind of shitty at the back, so I am leaning towards like a 1-0 Lazio win in this one. Juve have been playing a little bit better recently, but I think Lazio are going to sneak it.
Fair enough. And we'll move on to the biggest game of the weekend in Italy. That is Inter Milan versus Napoli, the league leaders for the Scudetto. I love this Napoli team, and that's why I'm going to put my neck out on the line for them. They are the underdogs, big time. Their money line is plus 220. This one has huge, huge value. Putting my neck out on the line for this Napoli team. Victor Osimhen, Lorenzo Insigne, Jose Callahan. I'm putting my bet on you guys. It's a big bet for me. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if Inter Milan go out and win this because I ride for this Napoli team. I'm riding for them this weekend, plus 220 money line.
I'm inclined to agree with Josh here on this one. Napoli have been incredible this year in the Serie A. They have been scoring goals like mad. They have been keeping clean sheets like crazy. They're undefeated in the Serie A right now still. They're an extremely, extremely good side, and they are also my pick in this game, too. I think it's going to be like 2-0 to Napoli, honestly. I don't see them conceding, and I think they're going to beat Inter. Sorry, Julian, love you.
And then...
wait, hold on.
Fiorentina has a game this weekend, too, but it's out of the table.
What?
It's out of my odds table. I do not have this as a slide. No. We don't need to talk about odds.
Different odds.
But we need to be talking about how Fiorentina has a home game
lose to AC Milan
against Milan.
They're going to lose.
They're going to get smacked up.
Well, AC Milan, though, they're...
In Italy, they're pretty good, man.
AC Milan are also undefeated in the Serie A. They are going to Fiorentina.
They are undefeated, however... Fiorentina have won both of their last 2 home games very convincingly. And AC Milan is on a what is it? They're on pace to become the second Serie A team to win 16 away games in a single calendar year.
I think pipe Fiorentina.
I think the pressure is going to get to their heads, and I think they draw. I think they're gonna drop points, and should they drop points, that pulls Fiorentina into the top 6.
I love how much you're gonna ride or die for.
I'm riding and dying on this hill. Fiorentina are going to at least tie this weekend against AC Milan. Paramount Plus 2:45 Saturday. Paramount Plus 2:45 p.m.
Mitch will be there
if you want to witness greatness when Fiorentina draw 1-1 and force AC Milan to drop points.
I'm just picturing Fiorentina in the Europa League next year without Dusan. It is going to be messy for them.
No, because
they won't be there. They're finishing in 8th place.
No. Oh no, I agree with you, Pat.
This is a huge game. This is a massive game.
AC Milan is going to put 3 by them and win 3-0, and that is how the game is going to go.
Nope, you heard Julian last week say Serie A is a little bit slower, more tactical, not a 3-0 game.
I literally heard Julian also say that Fiorentina finishing in the top 6 is an outrageous statement.
Nah. He said this is the year they do it, though.
He said it's outrageous. He literally said the quote is on our Instagram.
That's whatever. You know, it's neither here nor there or anywhere. And you know what? Like, I'm gonna ride with my boys in purple this weekend against AC Milan.
I respect it, but they're gonna lose. Let's go to another country with 3 colors in their flag, and we're going to go to France for Marseille and Lyon. I didn't write this game in the preview, so whoever did, would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, that's me again. This is Marseille at home, which is a little bit risky to take Lyon, but Lyon's been kind of up and down this year. They're so volatile that I just think they're going to win this one big after the international break. That's the analytics for this one. They're just going to win it big.
Nice.
The money line is -105. It's good odds. I like this bet. Shaqiri, score a goal maybe, prop bet.
Please, just do it. Do it for Josh.
Bet responsibly.
All right. Yeah, maybe don't take all of Josh. If you're gonna take all of Josh's picks, maybe only put like $10 or $20 down on a bet, not $100, like we initially started talking about. Just
okay.
I'm not gonna be able to tell you what you should do with your money, but
that is the last bet, though. We
along
do
your-
bet responsibly on this podcast. The next game that Pat is going to talk about, I do not have a bet for because I don't think I have a responsible pick for it. So, Pat, why don't you go ahead and talk?
So I'm going to Spain, to España, and we're going to watch the Real Social Dads play against the Bats, a.k.a. Real Sociedad and Valencia. The reason I want to highlight this game is because Sociedad are playing incredible ball through the first 13 games of the La Liga season. On top of the table, they have kept 8 clean sheets, and they're 6 in goals scored. So they're scoring goals, they're creating, and they're keeping clean sheets. They are at the top of the Liga table, like I said earlier. They're Oyarzabal. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a left winger. He's got 6 goals, 1 assist. He's been doing all the work for them up front. David Silva aging like fine wine, pulling the strings in the midfield for them. They look phenomenal, and I am gunning for them to win their first title since 1982 and bring home the Liga crown. I think it would be a really cool story, and it would be really, really good for my David Silva as the best Spanish player to grace the Premier League propaganda that I like to put out into the ether. So Spanish Dave is doing it big over in La Liga, and you should watch Real Sociedad play Valencia this weekend. And just so we're not sounding totally biased, Valencia are also 4th in goals scored in La Liga, despite being in 10th place. So they're fucking chaotic, and it should be a fun one this weekend.
They're a bunch of Swiss cheese.
Go Real Social Dad.
Top
Yeah,
lads.
no. Top. 1 second. I have one thing to kind of redact or put a little edit into, because we had some news come out over the last couple of days since our last episode.
Do you want to save this, Mitch?
What?
Do you want to save this?
Save what?
Could be a hairdryer if you want.
No, I wouldn't say hairdryer.
Okay.
I would just say that, we get limited information in the United States, so we have to talk about the things that we see when we see them based on how we receive them. Over the last couple of days, Ms. Diallo was released from police custody. The investigation is still ongoing, so nothing is set in stone. I'll just obviously it was a conversation that I had with the information that was given to us, and I don't think, thinking back on it, I don't think I said she is definitively guilty. I really
This
don't.
is not a
think
true
so.
crime podcast.
Yeah.
folks.
True,
This is not a true crime podcast.
obviously her being released also doesn't mean she's innocent. So I just wanted to provide that little update that Diallo is in fact out of police custody. Her people have released a statement saying that she is not involved with any of it, and people don't understand the relationship, and they have already turned to the media, jumping all over it and blaming and guilty until proven innocent, yada yada yada. We're still keeping an eye on it, but I just wanted to provide that little update on what was going on in the football world.
If Mitch isn't doing the hairdryer, Eric Adibal is going on my hairdryer list for sleeping with players. What the fuck? You can't be doing that, man.
He's
That's a
out
little
here,
sus.
bro.
That's a
A
little
little sus.
He's out here.
Very sus.
I mean, power move, but bad. Don't do that.
I was being
by
sarcastic.
the wife.
That is not good.
The wife
Yeah,
was
you
the
have
one
a
that
wife,
apparently
brother.
ordered the hit because Eric slept with the girl that got her legs beat in while she was at Barcelona, where he was the sporting director.
Yeah.
That is insane. You cannot be sleeping with players at the club where you are the sporting director.
Yeah,
but
no.
most PSG thing of all time. That's just like, I can't. PSG.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's literally an absurd story.
PSG, get out! Get out, PSG!
I have a better thing to talk about. I have a top lad. I actually have a group of top lads I would like to highlight on the episode this week. I'd like to highlight the Serbian national team as my top lads of the week. So as we talked about earlier, the Serbian national team beat Portugal 2-1, and they qualified for the World Cup. A report came out that the team was given 1 million euros as a bonus for qualifying for the World Cup. And the Serbian national team said, no, we're going to donate it to hospitals in Serbia instead because we don't need the money. So I tip my hat to you, Serbian national team. Here's a round of applause.
Have a nice.
Very, very nice thing. I like feel-good stories after hearing about
Murder.
the chaos that is Eric Abidal and a bunch of fucking and some broken legs. Right. So yeah, shout out the Serbian national team. It's a really cool thing that they did. My hairdryer for the week, however, Josh Ricker backing down from his hot take at the end of last episode. You thought I wouldn't notice that you just said we're going to talk about it next episode and tried to skate to the end of the episode without even talking about it?
A lousy hot take by me. It was lousy in the fact that I don't necessarily not think it's true. It's lousy in the fact that I didn't put much thought into it. It was on the graphic. We needed a hot take, so I put a hot take out there. But my boy, 3 assists versus San Marino. What are you gonna do about it?
It's San Marino.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Bag one.
He also scored a banger of a free kick against West Ham a couple weeks ago, right after I said this, so that would have been Sunday. I would have said that on Thursday. So he has been playing really, really, really good lately. I don't think you can make an argument. Chelsea fans can make an argument. Not many people can make an argument that Trent isn't the number 2 best right back. He's better than Reece James. I'm not taking arguments that Reece James is better than Trent. Cancelo, yes, he plays left back. He's a little bit more versatile. And at the end of the day, that really just comes down to like what formation tactics you want to set up. I do think Trent is the best right back for Liverpool for the way they play. Dumb hot take, and it's redacted.
Thank you. Also, Cancelo is the best fullback in the world, and that's not even a hot take. It's just the truth.
What about Reece James? The thoughts on what I said?
Okay, so I actually saw a good tweet about Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Cancelo that, you know, despite the banter and me, like, hurling takes out into the ether and, you know, I like to stir the pot and say dumb shit. This person summed up my thoughts on all 3 players, like, pretty well, actually. So I think Trent is easily the most talented of the 3. Like, dead balls, amazing, really, really good on the ball. He's phenomenal going forward. He's very clearly a generational talent in terms of attacking fullbacks. Like, we haven't really seen a player that can get forward from the right back spot like him since, like, maybe Dani Alves. That's like the first one that really comes to mind, like that type of player. I'm not saying they're the same players because I think Dani Alves is like the best modern fullback of all time, but the comparison is there. I think Reece James, however, is the most complete of the 3 players. He's a much better defender than the other 2, and he's pretty good going forward, as the statistics you iterated earlier demonstrating. He's a very complete fullback. Do I think maybe he gets a little benefit from Tuchel's 5 at the back system? Yeah, sure. But, you know, you get to play with the hand that you're dealt. So I think it's true. I think as he is currently playing, he's the more complete defender when you look at like all around skill sets. I think João Cancelo is the most versatile of the three. James and Trent could not play left back. There's no way in fuck that they could use their left foot like Cancelo does. There's no way that they could play that inverted inverted fullback position that Cancelo plays in this City side. Those two players could not fill that role the way Cancelo does. So where I think the lines get blurred is like what you value in a player. I think Cancelo is the best because I really value his versatility, and I value the fact that he brings more than just your standard fullback skill set to the table, and his ability to basically say, oh, De Bruyne is having a bit of an off day. I'm a fullback, but I can still create chances. He leads City in like forward passes, total passes, touches per game. He's like our top 3 for chances created. He's just a phenomenal forward from the fullback spot, playing out of position. And he also averages about 5 interceptions, or it's like 3 or 5 interceptions a game per 90 on top of like 2 or 3 tackles, a block. Like he's a good defender while also bringing these like versatile offensive skill sets to the table in a multitude of positions. And that's why I feel he's better than those two. But I think you can make an argument that because how much Trent gives to this Liverpool side, that he's the best. Because I don't think Cancelo could do what Trent does for Liverpool, and I don't think that James could do what Trent does for Liverpool. In the same way that I think James would be a phenomenal fullback in your side and in our side. He would be a great right back for both of our teams because he's a much more complete defender.
Yeah,
and that's
I agree with
honest,
that's
unbiased opinion.
That's a great kind of analysis on that, Pat. It's also probably the best way to deal with these hot takes in general. Just go at them from a completely logistical standpoint. I think you nailed that one head on, and it was probably a little lazy for me, the take.
We are a logistics company. Yeah.
I adore a piss take. Don't get me wrong. I love a good piss take. I think they're funny as fuck, and you hear them from me for the entirety of almost every episode.
I love them.
I do like to break out the football brain every now and again.
We love to see it. I want to close out the podcast today. A little bit of a serious note here. We do like to kind of close the podcast out on serious notes once in a while when there is something going on or whatever. Situation in Liverpool this weekend with a bombing near the women's hospital in Liverpool. It's important to talk about. I made a tweet the other day. Had people from Liverpool reach out to me personally saying, thank you for tweeting about it not being from Liverpool because it's not getting covered in the English media, which is sad that there is that difference and tension in the English media that Liverpool is a disliked area in the country. If that happened in London, it is sad that would be national news on the BBC. Boris Johnson would be talking about it 24/7. The sad fact is that it wasn't talked about. Basically, we're not going to comment too much on it because it's still an ongoing investigation. We're not the people to get your news from or whatever. A taxi driver, David Perry from Liverpool, was driving a taxi, noticed a guy in the back seat, had a bomb on him, and locked him and the bomber in the car. The bomb exploded. Luckily, David Perry actually made it out alive and has been already released from the hospital. But what a courageous move. And I feel like, me and Mitch as Liverpool fans have a justice to do by speaking about it on our platforms because it's not getting spoke about enough on social media and the news in England.
Absolutely. And I noticed you did say that like the only way we found out about this is because we follow Liverpool accounts.
Yeah.
Like the only reason, and I don't know if it made it to Justin outside of Josh retweeting it.
No, yeah, that's the first I heard of it.
Within other clubs and things like that, it sucks to see. It's literally a women's hospital, a birthing ward. It's a place where that shouldn't even. It's just despicable to have a situation like this unfold, let alone attention not be drawn to it because of where it was. And I just hope everybody involved is able to move on from it at some point. It's a pretty traumatic thing to witness that and to see the amount of cell phone videos and how many people did see that and were involved in it, even on a secondhand level. It's really, it plays with your emotions for sure. It's very sobering.
Yeah, and that's I know it's kind of a dark end of the episode, but we really do appreciate all your support, guys. We're seeing some uptick in engagement and everything. We do really love to see all that stuff. Sometimes with football, like anything, it's important to touch on the serious issues, and we do have a platform, no matter how big it is. Anyone that wants to come on and share something serious that's going on in the football world, that's important, and we should use it for something.
I've got a
good.
light serious situation, just to give us a little boost. Like, yes, we brought it down, but doesn't mean we have to, kick you off the ledge or anything. We got MLS Cup playoffs starting this weekend.
Go Reps.
Yes.
We've got playoffs starting this weekend, Saturday
And Minnesota.
and Sunday.
Go Minnesota.
It is a light, serious note. We need the support. Every club, no matter who you support, this is a big deal. We'd love to have more people getting involved with the game, even on a local level. The MLS is nowhere near as big as the Premier League, so every little bit helps. So tune in, find a favorite team, even if it's not the Revs. Support your local club. It should be the Revs because damn, they're the best team in the league.
Until
but also,
City.
A lot of the time, they're the
Until
worst
City.
club in the league, and that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
It changes ever so quickly. Kicking it off Saturday with Philadelphia and New York, and then Kansas City and Vancouver. So a couple of really good matchups to kick off this MLS Cup playoffs, and then the Revs won't be playing until November 30th. So I got to find my Carhartt bibs so I can go warm. It gets cold in Gillette, boys.
It gets cold. It just gets cold in New England, man. My house is on my heater's set to 75 in here, and I'm still kind of chilly sometimes. Anywho, if you made it this far in the episode, thank you very, very much for tuning in. I want to thank Justin for coming back on, being our first repeat guest.
A lot of firsts.
Always nice to have you on, brother man.
I loved it.
Up the Gunners, except for when they're playing City. You guys are winning 2-1 this weekend. Again, thank you, man, for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you. Always appreciate getting the homies in here to chat shit about football and whatnot. For those of you watching this video on YouTube, make sure you leave us a like, drop a comment, share it with a friend, sub to the channel, and ding the notification bell so you always know when our videos are posted. For those of you listening on Spotify, or Apple Music, Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts. Make sure you follow us, give us a like, download the episode, share it with a friend, post it to your Instagram story, tag us in it, take one of your AirPods and jam it into the ear of the person sitting next to you on the bus and get them to listen to it with you. Also, I have a challenge for anybody who's made it this far in the episode and so chooses to interact with us on social media. Send us an Instagram DM of where you listened to the episode, please.
Yes.
I'm curious. Tell me where you listened to it or what you were doing while listening to it. I'm genuinely curious where you're listening to it, where you're from, or anything like that. Any other people that want to be a guest, please feel free to reach out to us. We're trying to get more people on, expand the pool of people that we have here. We're going to be trying to bring you guys guests almost every week. So, be sure to tune in, see some new faces and whatnot. And I think that's about it for me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Josh Mitchell, any closing thoughts? Or are we good to let people go on with the rest of their day?
They can go do their things.
Keep the numbies going up. Deuces.
Hell yeah. Hope everybody has a great Friday. See you later. Thanks for
Gunners.
Peace.